Hey YouTube fam, what's up? Welcome back to our channel. So today I'm going to be explaining why you should drink red wine. Sounds very interesting, right? So let's go.
I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement.
Okay, so before I get on with the research part, I want to explain to you certain things that are used in the research so that we're on the common ground and you understand what the research is all about. I'm going to talk a little bit about estrogen. I hope you've heard of that name. It's a steroid hormone present in females and males as well. So, apart from the first thing that comes to your mind when I say estrogen, estrogen plays a lot of other roles in our body. For example, it promotes good cognitive health, which is actually understanding you or helping you at this point understand what I'm trying to say, and it will help you retain and apply this in your life. So that's the function of our cognition system. It helps you. It helps keep your bones healthy. It helps you in cardiovascular functions. A bunch of other roles that it does. Okay, so now I'm not gonna get deeper into estrogen. If you want me to, I could make another video, a whole video on estrogen, different types, or and what happens if you have estrogen in lower levels or higher levels, and how do you tackle that. So just let me know in the comments below. After that, the research, what it does is, it's a study done by Henry Bayele. He's a microbiologist at University College London. So what he has done is he has proven that in small amounts, a particular compound called resveratrol, which is found in red wines, interesting, can actually help you mimic the benefits of estrogen. If we go into the research design, what he did was he took some liver cells, human liver cells in vitro, which means he either used a petri dish or a culture dish or a test tube to do that. Anything anything out of our bodies, basically. He took the cells out of our body and exposed them to these compounds called D-stacks. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Just hold on to that thought. D-stacks, I'll explain what that is. So he observed that resveratrol, what it does is it activates the estrogen receptors, which in turn basically activates the activates uh, these proteins called sirtuins, and these sirtuins are actually very crucial in maintaining good health. It could actually promote you. It could actually, you could say, prolong your lifespan by preventing the occurrence of diseases or delaying them. It could help you prevent things like problems like type 2 diabetes or cancers of certain forms, some cardiovascular diseases, or basically a lot of problems. So biologists have been trying to target this particular protein by making drugs that would target these proteins called sirtuins, but they haven't been able to do so because of a lack of common understanding that how these proteins actually work in the cells of our body. Anyway, leaving all that aside, what he did was, so he found out that resveratrol could activate these estrogen receptors, right? But one important thing that I want to touch at this point of time is I don't want you to go right now to the store and just stack up on Pinot Noirs or Cabernet Sauvignons, any kind of red wine you can find in your area. The reason being that you have to be real careful with these things. So what he specifically told was in small amounts. You have to concentrate on the small amounts part because what he noticed was when he was exposing these human liver cells to these compounds, which I mentioned earlier, called D-stacks. They're basically dietary sirtuins activating chemicals, right? So compounds, activating compounds. So what he observed was when he used these compounds, including a bunch of other ones apart from resveratrol, there were isoflavones as well, which are found in legumes or soybeans. So when he exposed these liver cells to these compounds, he noticed that they were able to activate the estrogen receptors, but in high amounts, they were actually reduced the activation of these estrogen receptors. So, which goes on to prove that although red wine may have its benefits, but only in small amounts, in small regulated amounts. If you take too much of them, it's not going to do you any good. Rather, it would do you harm, which could include problems like heart attacks, stroke, or certain forms of cancers, or high blood pressure, obesity, and all that. So there's that. In Another thing that he found out was resveratrol was not the only compound that activated or turned on these estrogen receptors. There were other compounds which did it much better than resveratrol actually. And the name of the compound, are you ready? It's a bit of a tongue twister. It's called isoliquidethiogenin. I'll put that up here so that you can read it, read about it if you want to. It's found in licorice basically. So it did the job better than resveratrol. Anyway, moving on. What could we do with the study or the findings of the study? One thing that should come to your mind right away is the fact that estrogens are they are not really produced at the same level throughout the year of a female. If you think about it, as soon as the women hit their menopause, which could be in their 40s or their 50s, their body stops producing estrogen gradually, sometimes all of a sudden, which could lead to a lot of health problems, including mood swings, hot flashes, things like feelings of depression, anxiety, or stress. They usually tackle these problems by taking hormone therapy, or sometimes referred to as HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy, particularly estrogen replacement therapy. Although it does the job, you could say, but it has its associated health problems like strokes. You could get heart attacks from HRT. So you have to think if these compounds could activate the estrogen receptors, they could reduce the problems or tackle the problems that are brought on by menopause. Although the author himself suggested that we need more research in this field to get more detail or idea on how this can be done. But yeah, this is certainly one of the amazing aspects, or you could say uses, that could result from the findings of this study. Apart from that, have you heard of this phenomena called French paradox? It basically refers to the fact that the French people eat a lot of fat foods, like they put butter basically in everything, right? French butter, so famous. So, despite that, their rates of cardiovascular diseases or the deaths from these diseases strikingly low in France. Why is that? So you could argue the fact that they consume a lot of red wine, and not only do they consume a lot of red wine, they consume the red wine in moderation, which is very important, as I suggested earlier, also, which might help them. Hey guys, sorry for the interruption. The culprit is actually right over there. Was knocking on the door. Anyway, so yeah, I was talking about the French paradox, yeah? So yeah, this study could explain the French paradox, which basically refers to the fact that they eat a lot of fatty foods, but still the rates of cardiovascular disease are pretty low over there. Apart from that, in conclusion, what I would suggest you is not necessarily binge on wine drinking. Never, rather, don't do that at all. You could consume one small glass of wine every day to reap the benefits of resveratrol. Apart from that, if you're not a drinker, you could find resveratrol in blueberries, raspberries, cocoa, dark chocolate, a lot of other foods as well. So yeah, this was all I thought I might as well share this research with you. I hope you're all doing great. I will see you in the next video, and bye bye. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to our channel, it helps us a lot. Thank you so much.